From the Online Big Blue, we'll bring you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. The 53-man roster's out. We just did a live stream going over the 53-man roster, but I wanted to jump on the mic real quick and just do a quick analysis, a quick breakdown, if you want to call it that. We'll have a more in-depth one tomorrow, but I do find this roster kind of interesting. And you know what? I just want to tell people, if you are getting upset about this roster, you're thinking about this the entire wrong way. If you're getting upset because a guy didn't make the roster of another guy, you're not looking at this the right way. This is a team in flux. This is a team that is going in a different direction, hopefully, than it was in 2021. But this is an organization where the talent level is not 100% there. It's bare enough as it is, but the talent level is not there. And that's fine, because we all knew this was a rebuilding organization. If anyone looks at this roster and sees this as a 10 or 11 team, you're going to be disappointed. And I said this on the stream today. If you look at this roster, there are probably 16 to 17 guys that probably would not make the 50 to 53-man spot on any other NFL team but this one. And again, like I said, this team was not talent-laden. This team was in salary cap purgatory. So it is what it is. So you just got to, you got to look at it. You take it with a grain of salt, because a lot of these guys probably aren't going to be here, and they're going to get moved on from, because of the fact that Shane's going to be open for business and moving around on the waiver wire. So you know what? Be excited about it. If you're someone that you liked and made the roster, that's great. If someone that you disliked made the roster, or someone that you thought should have made the roster that didn't, it is what it is. It's going to be a team in flux. It's a year in flux. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just be excited. We got the 2022 Giants up, and let's go through the roster real quick. As you can see, it's already posted up. Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, running backs, not a surprise. Saquon Barkley and Matt Breida, not a surprise. You got Brightwell and Antonio Williams. Plassengummer's not on there because he's the NFL Europe guy. And you got Chris is going to be the tight end / fullback. Antonio Williams, to me, was probably the only one that was really a big surprise. I think Corbin deserved more of an opportunity because of the fact that he can also play special teams and return punts and kickoffs. Williams also had the big fumble. But you know what? It is what it is. You got Daniel Bellinger and Tanner Hudson. You're going to be I saw OJ Mayo got released, so you're going to be scanning the waiver wire, because that is not a combination. I had full of confidence at the beginning of training camp with the number of tight ends that we had, but injuries and waivers and everything else, that excitement's kind of dissipated a little bit. So you probably figure you're going to go try to find a tight end somewhere. The offensive line, you got Bredesen, you got the big Joshua. I always like Joshua. You got John Feliciano, Max Garcia, Glowinski. You got Hamilton, Lemieux, Neal, and Thomas. It's not Bart Oates, Brad Benson, William Roberts, Ard. It's and Chris Godfrey. It's not that offensive line, but you know what? Is it an improvement over last year? Well, Feliciano's is duct tape, is a little bit of duct tape away from being out of the lineup. I'm not sure that Garcia is really an NFL lineman. Glowinski, you have to hope he's not a systems guy. Lemieux, we're waiting on 3 years with Lemieux. Let's see what happens. I was a Lemieux fan for a while now, but you see kind of some of the cracks in his armor in regards to what he can and cannot do, so it is what he is. It is what it is. Wide receivers, you got Kenny G, of course, Richie James, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard, David Sills. David Sills made the team. If you're upset that Alex Bachman did not make it over the team over David Sills, it doesn't really matter. I don't think David Sills is going to be on this team much longer. I think he probably gets moved on with week 4, because anyone that's watched Sills play, he plays well against the Home Depoters, but then the only problem is you put him up against actual NFL competition, he folds like a cheap tent. But you know what? Bachman made more sense to me because of the fact that he could play special teams. He led the NFL receptions. I think it was 19 receptions for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns in the preseason. Darius Slayton, I've told people Darius Slayton's probably going to make this roster because he's one of the only true outside wide receivers, because you got 2 5'8" guys in Wan'Dale Robinson and Richie James, and you got Kadarius Toney. And I said this before, the Giants have created a new moniker for the injured list. It's no longer for Kadarius Toney. It's no longer doubtful. It's no longer probable. It's no longer out. It's no longer questionable. It's hopeful. The Giants are hopeful that Kadarius Toney will be able to play. It is what it is. It's defensive backs. You got Belton, Flott, Holmes, Jackson, Love, McKinney, Robinson, and Williams. You only got 3 safeties on the roster with Julian Love and Belton, who's coming off the collarbone injury. He was on the practice field today wearing the red jersey. And Julian Love, You got to pick up somebody there, and you're going to need to pick up someone in regards to one of the corners, because there's probably two guys on here that are not NFL corners. Let's say the least. Defensive line, you got DJ Davidson, Justin Ellis, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Nick Williams. It's interesting that you're carrying 17 guys between the defensive line and the linebackers. Yes, and I understand that the linebackers are quasi linebackers, are also defensive ends. But your linebackers are Cam Brown, Calitro, who's been on 3 teams now in 4 years, or 4 teams in 3 years. Carter Coughlin, Tate Crowder, Blake Martinez, Mr. McFadden. I think if Beavers was available, McFadden wouldn't be on this roster. The other outside linebackers, you got Fox, Ojulari, Smith, Thibodeau, Ward, and Zimenez. Schoen, can you see? Making this roster is a big surprise, especially over Quincy Roche. I kind of think it's a mistake, because I have not seen I have not seen any new moves from O'Shane. O'Shane had one move coming out of Old Dominion, pass rushing move, and I haven't seen anything different. You got Gilliam Gano, and like I said, as your special teams guy, like I said, the roster is going to be in flux. The roster is going to move up and down. It is what it is. Just take it with a grain of salt. Be happy that we got our 2022 Giants. We're going to do a more in-depth breakdown of the roster probably tomorrow, because we're going to wait and see exactly what happens with this team, with the waiver wire, who's coming over, who's not coming over, who's going to still be on this team. Like I said, on a normal roster, you figure guy 50 to 53 are usually in flux. I think this roster could be anywhere in flux between roster spot 46 and 53. So I've said it before, don't unpack your bags if you're in one of those spots, because you never know what's going to happen. And again, this is Tim with the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could you can subscribe. If you can ring that bell, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.